Okay, so a quick reply to an email I got about the Gambit Gaming Weaknesses video that I published a couple of days ago. In my first video on Gambit Gaming, it may have seemed that I was overly critical towards Edward, now who's changed his name to Gosu Pepper, of course, back to Gosu Pepper this season, singling him out for the lack of vision control, especially in the game against Fnatic, where he doesn't buy a Sightstone until 12:45 and doesn't place a Sightstone ward until 13:22. Actually, the criticism isn't one of Gosu Pepper, but Gambit Gaming as a whole and their lack of priority as a team on vision. In fact, there's no problem with choosing to rush mobility boots over Sightstone, but you have to be aware that as a team, this is going to hinder your ability to fight over vision early. There's no problem with Gosu not buying an early Sightstone. What matters is that someone else has to pick up the slack, either jungle, mid, or top laner. I'm going to show an LPL game from this week to illustrate this point. In this game, both supports rush mobility boots, but the teams maintain vision control as a unit. VG Gaming and Edward Gaming have some of the best vision control early of all teams in the entire world, not just in China. And the difference between what Gambit does and what they do should be very clear as we go and talk through this video. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about picks bans here. So I'm not sure why VG Gaming only have 2 bans. I'll have to check this out, but it's not related to the match in any way. Firstly, note the AD carry bans. Kallista's very strong on this patch, both as an early lane bully and as a teamfight initiator. Sivir is a strong pick in China with one of the highest win rates, and Gragas is, the best early game jungler. Jinx is a target ban on Deft, Hecarim's a target ban on carry. These are both sensible bans against the teams in question. In terms of team composition, both are happy to play to the late game. Edward Gaming's first pick Rek'Sai ensures they're going to have the jungle pressure early, which allows them to pick the two strong late game hyper carries. VG Gaming will be looking to contest early dragons with Rumble and have a strong mid game power spike with Urgot and Rumble, and Sejuani, especially once Sejuani hits level 6 around the 7 to 8 minute mark. They're also not that outclassed late game, mainly because Urgot can neutralize one of Edward Gaming's 2 hyper carries due to their lack of mobility, and the team has strong engage and front end burst with Sejuani and Rumble ults comboing together very, very well, and they have a super strong CC heavy frontline. Azir here makes up for the lack of damage from Urgot late game, so they won't fall off in terms of damage. Although, of course, Edward Gaming with their Kog'Maw and the range on Kog'Maw and the counter engager in Cassiopeia will have the advantage late game, but it's not a huge advantage. Okay, so let's go and have a look at some of the vision control in this game. I'm just going to fast forward to here. So, neither side looks for deep wards in this game at the start, as the risk of walking into Morgana Binding or an Alistar Pulverize to initiate a level 1 teamfight is too great. So they're going into their lanes blind, and they don't know where the junglers are starting. I suspect VG Gaming probably wrongly anticipated that Edward Gaming would lane swap to protect Kog'Maw from Urgot in the early game, and therefore they try to preempt it, but fail. Urgot starts golems in this game, and Ali freezes the lane, which is a smart thing to do. Urgot's going to get the EXP advantage in a 2v2 or an extra CS for no real loss in the 2v1. So here at 850, this is the first thing that I want to talk about. So, Mako manages to get good early game harass here, and whilst Na hits a level 2 from the Wolf Camp here. Now, this is a smart play in general and a good heads up play from Mako once it's clear that the lane swap has happened from VG Gaming. Edward Gaming have no idea where Dandy is starting jungle because they have no deep wards. They know that they do know that there are at most 2 people in this blue side or potentially red side jungle, which isn't going to be enough to kill Morgana, especially if they've taken damage from the jungle camps. They can already see the other 3 members of the map. So, if VG Gaming are starting red, then Morgana will be in position to ward blue around the 230 mark and could potentially contest this blue alongside Rek'Sai, who's much stronger level 1 to 2 than Sejuani will be. If they're double jungling the blue buff side, Morgana will be able to get a lot of free harass and might get lucky, maybe steal a wolf camp with her W, or maybe a small blue buff golem or something like this. So there's no disadvantage to doing this, and there's a very strong advantage, namely that Edward Gaming can set up a potential 3 buff start if Sejuani has started red side jungle and goes to blue side for Sejuani's second buff. Maybe there's a chance here for a jungle invade. And this is setting up the wards for it. Okay. The thing that I want to point out here is Morgana warding the wolf. Now, they know that Sejuani has started blue and they can track Sejuani's jungle path. However, the ward on wolves is a pressure, and so therefore the vision that this ward on wolves provides is not really relevant. What it does do, though, is it puts pressure on VG. VG don't know where Rek'Sai is, and Edward Gaming know that VG Gaming don't know where Rek'Sai is. And it's very possible at this point in time that Rek'Sai is currently going to counter jungle their red buff, and this ward is to let Edward Gaming know how long they have before Clearlove, who is the Edward Gaming jungler, has before Rumble and Sejuani come and try to contest their red. So this, by placing this ward here, and the pressure that this ward creates, Morgana basically forces them off the wolf, not through damage, but through map pressure. And this delays Sejuani's early power farming, and means that Sejuani is delayed returning back. Okay, note the inventory here in the on Na. This is something which all teams should be doing early game rather than getting the 3 pots. I mean, the ward here is an advantage. I've seen top laners in EU and NALCS go longsword 3 pots. But the ward here will give them more flexibility in what they want to do with their vision control. And this matters because, remember, this is a game where the entire team from both sides are going to contribute to early game vision control. And this just shows that this is already going to happen. So, and this highlights the intention to play the vision game early from all lanes. So Rek'Sai recalls here and immediately upgrades his machete and buys 2 wards. Where Sejuani was delayed by the ward on wolf and is going to be a little bit late. Recall.
Getting themselves into that 2v2 matchup now that they've made it to level 3. Very interesting though that they'd want to try and
note that here Cassiopeia hasn't had the chance to recall yet, and Rek'Sai is going to be the one who's going to place the vision early. Note also that Rek'Sai recalls after doing 2 camps, as soon as he has the money to go and do this, to go and buy the 2 wards. This ensures that he's going to be at full health for a gank or counter gank after he takes the blue. Okay, this is unfortunately it's quite difficult to watch LPO games due to lag spikes. It's never 100% pleasant to watch them, but this game is so important that I want to show it despite all these lag spikes. This is very frustrating when you miss a team fight, but I don't think anything has happened here. It's basically lag between the tournament server and the broadcast studio, which isn't in China. Okay, so they fixed the lag spikes. Okay, good. So here, I'm going to pause just in a second.
We'll see how things are going to go, and whether he does go for that Blade of the Rune King build. What's your sort of ideal Cogmore build?
Okay, so here. So we're 5.5 minutes into the game, and VG Gaming already have 2 pink wards on the map, and Edward Gaming already have these 2 pink wards in inventory. Note also that because Alistair Urgot want to push their lane into the tower, that they've also placed a ward here, which Mata has been very careful to make sure that he hasn't been spotted placing. Now,
Every analytical caster has a different idea.
the reason why Edward Gaming haven't had to place their wards early is because they're pushed into the tower bot lane, and they don't really have to worry about Sejuani gank until sort of level 6, because Sejuani's ganks early aren't really that powerful. So they don't have to place these wards until about 7 or 8 minutes, whereas Vici Gaming do. And Vici Gaming have to sort of fight for vision control early. So it's very hard to tell whether this is disrespect or lag, but I think that was disrespect. Okay,
I'm not really
so
much of a fan of it. I don't know whether I like it. Has been changed in 5.8, but that is true. It's a little bit stronger.
So here, Vici Gaming have 6 wards on the map at this point, and they have 2 pings, so they easily spot this gank here coming from Rek'Sai. Again, remember, Edward Gaming don't have that many wards early because they don't have to worry that much because of the Sejuani. But there's so many wards on the map. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wards here from Vici Gaming already at this early stage in the game. We're 6.5 minutes into the game. This is how much respect they're giving for the potential Rek'Sai jungler.
Coined as one of the most impressive mini Gnar players. Not necessarily a mega Gnar player.
So remember, Sejuani is power farming up, and within the next 45 seconds, the danger of a Sejuani gank goes up, and Edward Gaming are going to ward appropriately. This is about warding around the power spike of the ganks of your enemy jungler.
No, I'm rethinking it right now. It's awful. I'm not very happy about this whole
So
situation.
Sejuani is still 5, but will be 6 very, very soon, probably on handing this blue buff to Azir.
Amazing J's a Garen player, man. He's not a Teemo player.
Not stooping to that level.
I think they might actually.
So yeah, so sure enough, Sejuani hit 6, and as a result, Edward Gaming now have 3 wards around mid, which is the lane which is most under threat from a gank. Bot lane doesn't need the wards because it's pushed into tower, but there are 3 wards around the mid lane to cover potential gank routes from Sejuani. Now that the gank from Sejuani is an issue.
This game starts to stretch out. The biggest thing that you need to consider is who's going to be carrying the game. So if we look at the side of Vici right now,
so
they've got a lot of mid-game strength.
Here we go. So note the mobility boot rush on the support. So we're 8 minutes in. The support has rush mobility boots rather than going for Sightstone. But Mako hasn't needed to buy that many wards because his mid and jungle have bought a huge amount of wards, which are covering some of the entrances to the jungle. And what we see here is a sort of zonal area of responsibility for warding and for early game vision control. Gnar, also now that Sejuani has hit 6, also goes back and buys 2 wards. So you see, lots of wards coming into the inventory now. From everybody around, everybody else, except for the support, and except for bot lane, who have rushed damage items and pressure, like mobility boost pressure items.
The most incredible damage over time that you could ever expect. But that sort of involves having Vici Gaming sort of.
So Clear Love here is fighting, is trying to deny vision, because yeah, it's just trying to deny some early vision, manages to take out the 2 pink wards that were placed early. But note here that we're 9 minutes into the game. Mid laner has bought 3 wards, jungler has bought 4 wards, top laner has bought 2 wards, and support has bought 1 ward so far. 2 wards so far. So the bulk of the warding for Edward Gaming hasn't been done by the support. It's been done by the jungler and the mid laner, with the top laner also having wards as well. So this is a team effort to warding. And this is one of the reasons why their vision control is so strong early game.
Also, first and foremost, if they're looking to have a fight in a 5v5 situation, you don't want to fight the jungle. You're up against the
and this is Clear Love denying vision. He kills 3 wards here, which means that Vici Gaming's warding here is a little bit lax at this point in time.
A bit more open than that of, say, a choke point in the red buff. So you want to have Bamey in a situation where he's not going to get instantly killed and stuck on top of an equalizer, where he can turn around after the Sejuani ult and be aggressive and make them really start to hurt.
More lag, unfortunately.
That's an assumption.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, and I guess Cassiopeia sort
Yep,
of
so he's
noticed
clearing a
maybe
third
it's
ward. So he's
fantastic
cleared the two
running
pinks
away,
and he's cleared the third ward
the enemy team is sort of
as well.
closing in on you, and then you're able
Rek'Sai.
to turn it around with the perfect
So this is
flying gaze into a
okay. So this is the second ward that Na has, and this is a clever ward because it wards red. They know that Sejuani started blue, and this ward is to trap when
Yeah, and I guess the big question is
Sejuani
gonna
goes
be
to
on
this
the back of
side,
Mako,
back
is
to this
Rumble
side of the
getting
jungle.
aggressive.
Yeah, using that flame spitter onto Amazing J. Amazing J just taking it like a man.
So here, VG Gaming know that Rek'Sai started. So I should talk a little bit about this. So they know that Rek'Sai started red and have a rough idea of when he's going back to blue, and this is why they can make the flash engage on Claw because they know Rek'Sai is going to be handing over blue buff at this time. At the same time, this is a very clever heads-up teleport play. He gets Mega Gnar and teleports immediately into the fight, equalizing the kills, and knows that Rumble can't teleport too, because Rumble has just used Equalizer in the fight top lane.
Yeah,
And also,
I
Rumble has no
really
way
great
to
Gnar
interrupt
teleport as our
the
screens
Gnar
just
teleport.
Unfortunately,
So this is
turned off
quite
just a little
this is
bit, but
quite
we
a
still
smart
saw
play.
what happened. It was
And
still
the cost of
It
this
was
is
a
he gives
great
up some
teleport,
creep
and it
early
looked
game.
like
However, the
back
response here
to
from
Scumbo.
Clearlove,
Clearlove's going
although
in.
this could be a
Yeah,
bug, I think this may have been a bug here that stopped so that Azir didn't manage to knock Clearlove away. Although I'd have to watch it in slow motion in better detail, but I think that's a bug. But the point is that Clearlove makes a very smart play. He's denied vision for the last 2 minutes. He's cleared a total of 4 wards in the last 2 minutes. And he's seen the jungler bot side, so he knows, and the teleport has been used so that they can't, has been used. Sorry, the equalizer from Rumble, has been used, so the teleport from Rumble is not going to be a strong disincentive for this dive. Therefore, once he sees the jungler go bot side, he knows that he can make the dive on mid. And this is as a result of denying the vision control. They're denying vision early and fighting over vision early. And Clearlove is one of the best junglers in the whole world at doing this. He's very, very good at fighting over vision, and he's one of the reasons why Edward Gaming are so successful as a team. It's on the back of his play. He doesn't make super, super flashy plays, but he exerts a huge amount of pressure. And this is something which has only improved now that a lot of the top junglers from Korea are now playing in China. He's managed to adapt to playing this style, because before before season 5, the quality of junglers in China was not that great. And the higher the quality you have in a region, the more players as a whole improve. And Clearlove's play has really, really stepped up last season, and coming into the current season. Okay, so one final thing to note just before I leave this video. Mobility boots rush on Alistar as well, no Sightstone rush. And the reason he can do this is because Sejuani has bought an early Sightstone here, which means that the bulk of the defensive warding is not going to fall to the support, it's going to fall to the jungle. So just to sum up this video quickly, essentially here in this game you've got 2 different styles of vision control, which allows supports to rush mobility boots instead of concentrating on vision early. And this is very, very different from the sort of Gosu Pepper rushing on Gambit, rushing mobility boots, because Gambit's playstyle, especially when Diamond's on a carry jungler and Betsy is on mid, is not to do this. The other thing that's very interesting to note is that Edward Gaming and VG Gaming prioritize their vision control according to the power spike of the enemy jungle champion. So VG Gaming ward heavily early to reduce Rek'Sai's early impact and strong early ganks and counter jungling potential. And then, whereas Edward Gaming ward primarily at about 6 minutes 30 to 7 minutes 30 in preparation for the first Sejuani gank, which is going to be very powerful, but they don't have to worry too much about a Sejuani gank before that point, so they don't need to have that much vision control before that point. So, just looking at these 2 styles, so Edward Gaming have a sort of zonal warding style, where every single player is required to buy a large number of wards. Here you see Rek'Sai buying 3 wards early, mid laner buying 2 wards, top laner buying 2 wards, and zonally warding across the map. whereas the vision control from bot lane is almost nothing. They don't need to take the Scuttle Crab because Rek'Sai is very good at soloing Scuttle Crab quickly. They buy 2 wards just, to have some sort of vision control in the 2v2 matchup in lane. But fighting vision control over the map is not the responsibility of the support. It's responsibility of the top, mid, and jungle. The jungler warding more for bot side. By contrast, VG Gaming's style is they get their pinks down early, they get their early ward vision. Remember, at 6 minutes 30, there were 6 wards on the map from VG Gaming, and 7 if you include the Scuttle Crab. And in order to match the map pressure that is generated by Edward Gaming's support rushing mobility boots, VG Gaming also rush mobility boots on their support, and the lack of vision that comes from the support due to the support not being able to rush Sightstone and not buying a huge number of wards is that the jungler fills in this role and plays on the sort of typical solo queue support role and buys the Sightstone early, even before finishing Cinderhulk. Sejuani already has the Sightstone. And these are 2 styles of play that you can run and in doing so allow your support to rush their mobility boots while still maintaining vision control. And I thought this game was very interesting because of how the two teams had similar final outcomes, but got there through which is their supports having mobility boot rushes early, but got there through very, very different styles of warding and different zonal styles of warding. Okay, I hope that clears up some questions from the last video.